Hi, I'm Steve from Galey's Marine in Bakersfield, California. Today we're going to do a walkthrough for you on the Nautique G23. Let's go take a look at
it. G23 is a 23-foot boat. The boat itself weighs right at about 5,500 pounds. It's 2,850 pounds of stock ballast. Plenty of room in the boat for storage and more ballast if you think you need it. When we've done the reef blue and black, sitting on a boatmate trailer with some real nice sea-deck non-skid on the trailer. We got some painted accents around the lights and on our rims as well. Nice platform cover on this boat. As we get around in the back, you can see the big surf pipe, NCRS plate that's actually built into the hull of the boat, and the newly redesigned NSS plate, making the surf experience even better than it was previously. So we make our way up to the back end of the boat. You can see how nice and wide this platform is and how accessible the boat is to board from the back end. We have a real nice low step there with some sea-deck non-skid on it. And it's actually an insulated ice chest on the back of the boat, so if you're just back there hanging out, you got drinks on the back of the boat. Nice sea-deck walkover over the motor box. So we come up into the boat, you can see we still got nice big sea-deck landing pads on either side of the boat, as well as up on the gunnel, so as people are boarding the boat, they're not going to step on the gel coat and scratch the boat at all. Let's get up inside and see what we can find in there.
As we make our way up inside the boat, one of the first things you notice is a nice step right here on the center of the back seat. So many boat companies now are putting the nice flip seat, but never giving you anywhere to step on. So Nautique has addressed that this year with a nice step with sea-deck non-skid again, so you're not going to slip as you're stepping inside the boat. As you can tell from the rest of the boat, we got plenty of room for seating. This boat is rated for 16 people, and there's plenty of room for everybody to be comfortable. We have a nice big pop-in seat back here, so if you have somebody sitting here wanting to face backwards, they have a nice comfortable seat. You have the slide seat that can come forward and pop up, so plenty of room here for a couple of people, and then an additional pop-up backrest on this side. With this backrest up, you have a nice cutout here behind the backrest, so that somebody could sit here straight without sitting cantered off to the side. So another feature about Nautique's flip seat that I really like is when the seat is forward, you have this nice step here, and with the walkthrough over the motor compartment, it's not a very big step from here up to here. So if you have small children on the boat, or if you're like me and you get busted up a little bit behind the boat, it's a nice easy step in and out of the boat. So another really simple feature that I like about Nautique boats is their hinges on the seats. All of these side seats have stainless steel self-supporting hinges, so when you flip the seats up, they're going to stay up. They actually have drains on the underneath side here, so if you have water inside the cushion from a long day on the lake, flip those up, everything's going to drain down through the bottom into the storage compartments, will then drain down into the bilge and come out through the bilge. So a lot of attention paid to water management, getting the water to go where it needs to go down in the bilge of the boat, not everywhere else inside the boat. So really cool feature there. So as you can see all throughout the boat, Nautique uses the sea-deck flooring. You can get this in the tan color or a platinum gray. It's very easy to take care of. If you spill something on it, hit it with the scrub brush and some warm water. It cleans up very easy. A huge advantage to the Nautique boats being so big and deep is the amount of stuff they can get into the floor. All of your ballast is actually underneath the floor on either side, so your storage compartments are wide open, both these side cushions and in your rear compartments in the back, so it gives you a ton of storage room in the boat. You also have the drop-in ice chest in the floor here, so you can pop that out if you want to. If you wanted to put this somewhere else in the boat and use that ice chest there as your main ice chest, you can do that as well. And then this back hatch here, this is where your batteries are stored down in the floor. They're centered in the boat, so you don't have any left or right issues as far as one side of the boat weighs more than the other because the batteries being offset and things like that. You also have access to ballast pumps, bilge pump, and some wiring harnesses and things like that. So if you're one of those people that likes to do your own mechanical work, really easy to access things underneath there. So we're up in the bow of the boat now, and Nautique has some really cool features up here as well. Again, they're using the same stainless self-supporting hinges on these seats, so if you need to flip the seats up and let them drain, you could do that. You have the transom walkover here on one side of the filler cushion. You flip that over and have cushion on the other side. And then there is also a filler cushion for this little section here. So if you want the non-skid through the front for people to board, flip that stuff one way. If you want the nice plush cushions for people to relax up here, flip them over the other way. C-deck up on the top deck here, as well as some landing points up in front of the windshield, just in case you have people trying to board or step off the boat from the front. So some of the benefits of a really deep boat like this are the amount of storage room you get. Just to kind of show off how big the storage is, sitting down in here very comfortably. My legs are stretched all the way out. I have plenty of room to either side of me. Probably actually lay back and take a nap in here if I wanted to. So tons of storage room in the Nautique G23.
Here's another quick shot of the storage compartment under the passenger seat. You can see a ton of storage room in there. All the storage is lined with C-deck non-skid, so you don't have to worry about your stuff sliding back and forth. Have a nice little trash bin there. Access door right here on the outside, so if you have things to throw away, you can actually do it from here without getting people up out of their seat. So we're up at the dash now, and one of the things that you can see with the Nautique is everything is very low across the dash. We don't have big giant dash pods or big giant glove boxes. They really strive to give the driver as much visual as possible. You don't want to be looking at all this stuff in front of you when you have boats and other things like that in front of you that you need to concentrate on. So very nice low profile dash. We have a little bit of a storage compartment here for keys, wallet. You can plug in a video camera and some accessory stuff there if you want to. The screen is actually moved off to the right hand side of the boat. That way, as you're driving, you have a clear visual of what's in front of you, and it's just a real quick glance down to here if you need to see anything on the screen. The dash system, the link system for this year is completely redesigned, and that is probably one of the biggest changes in the boat. We now have this rotary knob here with a couple keypad keys above it and below it. Some of this technology has been seen before, but really not to the extent that Nautique has taken it. The whole entire boat system can be controlled by this rotary knob. So you can kind of scroll through your menu options here, select left and right to go through different menu options. When you get to what you want, all you have to do is, let's see here, let's go to our lights, bump it down, and it's going to go back over to those options there. You can select up and down, bump it to grab the one you want, change a setting, bump it down again to set that setting. We also have some different tabs down here on the bottom that can be accessed with the tab button on the bottom below the rotary knob. You have a home button, take you right back to the home page. Stereo. Stereo is currently off. If we want to turn it on, all we got to do is push that knob down. It's going to activate the stereo. Now I can turn volume up and down. I can mute the system. I can select tracks left and right, Bluetooth, pretty much whatever you want from there. And it's all done right here with your hand on the armrest, so you never have to reach up and touch the screen. Naturally, you can if you want to. This is complete touchscreen. So if you want to select through these options, you can scroll through that way. If you're one of those people that prefers to touch things and use the knob, you can definitely do that there. Pretty much everything on the screen can be done from the touch here or from the control knob. There's a quick shot of the control knob for you. You can see you got 3 buttons across the top, 2 buttons down on the bottom. Okay, so just to run through the dash with you, on the top of the screen here, that is your vitals about the boat. So we have water temperature, oil pressure, battery voltage, and RPM. That will always be displayed at the top of the screen there. You can also see we have some user settings here, stereo on off, speed control on off. You can also do that from the tab on the rotary control. If you look at the screen and the control knob at the same time, basically this round circle here, that's your control knob. These are your buttons on top of the control knob and your buttons on the bottom of the control knob. So anytime you see that, whether you're pushing it on the knob itself or up here on the dash, it's going to do the same function. So if I ended up in one of these settings here and I wanted to go home, I could press the home screen there on the dash itself, or I can press that same button on the knob. To run through some of these settings here, you have your NCRS auto that you can turn off. You can turn it on low or on high. What that is going to do is that as the boat's getting up out of the water, that NCRS plate is going to go up and down to stair step the boat up out of the water onto plane. So you can adjust how intense that setting is. It will also allow that plate to drop down if you go into a real tight hard turn. The boat's going to see the RPM jump up. It's going to know that you're going into a hard turn. That plate is going to go down, forcing the nose of the boat down so you can make that nice hard sharp turn. And as soon as you get back on the plane and straighten out, your plate's going to go back up to your desired setting. So if I want to change any of that, I can scroll over with the knob and rotate up and down to select which option. Once I get to the option I want, if I want to change that NCRS setting down to a 2, I push the knob in and I can just scroll down to 2 and hit the knob again. What that's going to do is that's going to take some of the peak off of the wake. So advanced riders are generally going to want to be up around a 4 or 5. Your beginning and novice riders are generally going to want to be anywhere from about probably a 0 to a 3. I can also do that here on the screen. So if I just want to do it there, punch in the dash instead of using the knob, very easy to do there. You have vitals information down here. This is all the same information that we're giving you up across the top of the screen on every page. So as we go through some of the pages, I can scroll up to the music tab there, or I can also use the knob. If I want to use the knob, I'm going to push it over to highlight this section here, and then I'm going to scroll the knob up to get to the page I want. And then to mess with any of these settings, I'm going to scroll back over this way. So if I arrow over that way, I can go up and down through those options. And then your options here on the bottom, you use the tab button on the keypad, or you can press right on the dash if you desire to do it that way. So that's your stereo knob there. Audio stuff is kind of becomes second nature for most of us, but one cool thing that we have in here is the auto volume. Can't see it here because I have the stereo off. The auto volume allows you to set a min and a max. So when we're sitting in neutral, the stereo is going to be at whatever that minimum amount I set is, and as we take off, the RPM on the engine comes up, the boat starts making a lot more noise. The stereo is going to go up to whatever max volume I have set there. So kind of a cool feature. So if we go back to the home page here and scroll over, we're past our music page. This is our ballast page here. So we have on top belly, port, and starboard. You have a quick toggle to drain all or fill all. If we go through some of our tabs down here, we can set those set levels where we want them. And here's a cool overhead view of our belly ballast, port, and starboard ballast tanks. One really cool feature for this year in the new link system is the ability to offset the ballast. So as you can see here, it says ballast shift. I'm shifting the ballast to the left side. So what that ballast shift is going to do for us, if the right side of the boat is sitting a little bit heavier, as we're moving, I can adjust this ballast shift to allow the ballast tanks to drain a little bit of ballast out of the heavy side to even up the boat. So if we're sitting neutral, naturally I want to be at 0. As we take off down the lake, if I find that the passenger side of the boat is setting a little heavier than the driver's side of the boat, instead of moving people around in the boat, all I have to do is offset the ballast, maybe 100 pounds, maybe 150. It just kind of depends on how many people you have over there and how bad the wash is on that other side of the wake. So once I get it to my desired setting, scroll down, hit the button there to start the ballast shift, and that will activate the ballast while we're moving. It is completely fine to offset that ballast while you're moving on the boat. No issues there. So if we go back to the home page, and we'll scroll up to our next setting, which is going to be our lights setting. On the top here we have courtesy lights. They are currently off. If I turn them on, now in the boat we have all our courtesy LEDs and our LED cup holders. Dock lights on off, you could do it there. You could also do it from the knob. If I scroll over, press the button down on the option I want, scroll over to the setting I want, press the button again, and now that's set. On the bottom we have lights, climate, and features here. The climate is just going to give you air temp, water temp. Also shows you here in the middle if the passenger seat heater is on. There's a button on the passenger side of the boat to turn that heater on and off. And then my driver's seat heater I can turn on and off here using the touchscreen or the rotary knob. On our features page, this just gives you a list of all the different features that are in the boat. So right now we're at 12-volt outlets. There are 5 12-volt outlets on the boat, and it shows you right here where all those outlets are. If I scroll over, the next is going to be our auxiliary. There's one auxiliary connection in the boat right here by the driver's helm. We have 2 USB ports, one for music and one for diagnostic stuff that usually a service center will use if we need to do any type of update or anything like that to your system. We have 2 batteries. They're both dead center in the floor in the boat, and one drain plug which is also in the middle of the boat. 2 bilge pumps, one forward and one aft, and then back to 12 volt there. So that's all your settings there. So if we go back to our home page, next on pages, this is going to be our user settings. So if we scroll over here, you can see at the very top we have back to dock. That's for the end of the day. If you're in Wake Pro or Wake Intermediate and you have ballast set, you have your cruise speed set, if you hit back to dock, that is going to dump all the ballast. That is going to change your set speed, change the NCRS plate. So any settings that you have set up in those user menus, it is going to change back to a neutral setting to go back to the dock and load the boat up for the end of the day. As we scroll down here, we have Wake Pro. You can see the setting up here in the top. That's going to be 100% ballast in all 3 of our tanks. Our set speed is at 23.7. Our NCRS plate is at 5, so it's going to give us the most peak we can get on top of the wake. As we scroll down to Wake Intermediate, you can see we have 50% ballast across, a little bit slower speed. NCRS plate is still set at the same setting, so still a lot of peak to the wake, but not as quite as much ballast to provide as big a wake. So we go down to Wake Novice, you can see now we are at 0, much slower speed at 20 miles an hour, and now our NCRS plate has changed down to 2 to really knock off a lot of that lip on top of the wake for our beginning riders. As we continue to scroll down, we have Wakeskate Settings and also surf settings. This is your user list that we're on. We can also create a new user, so if you want to set your own customized settings to the boat, you can do that right there. You can name it, and then that'll allow you to scroll through when we're back into user settings here. Okay, so from here, our next page over, if we just arrow over with the knob, next page is going to be our navigation page. I can have a mini map here, just giving me a small map of where we're at with all my additional information off to the side, or I can go full map view, slide all that stuff out of the way, and give me a much larger area of what I'm looking at. I can control everything here by both the rotary knob as well as the touchscreen on the dash. So we go back there, and last page is going to be settings. From our settings page here, I can adjust my minimum depth alarm. So if I want to adjust when that buzzer is going to go off, adjust that there. You can turn the buzzers on and off if you want to. I like the depth buzzer on, so we'll turn that on. Speed buzzer, it'll let you know when you've hit your set speed. Auto volume on and off, and river mode on and off. River mode is used if you're running against the current or with the current. You're going to want to offset your set speed so that you're not going too fast or too slow. It's very particular to get the rider at that speed that they're looking for, especially if you're in a current where you got 4 or 5 miles an hour difference. So as we page through the bottom, we have our display, basically our clock, our brightness, time zone, and system settings here. These are going to be mostly for a service center, but if you were to want to pair the surf remote for the NSS surf system this year, they have a key fob that as the rider is riding behind the boat, they can select left or right on that surf wave, and after they push the button, the boat is going to transfer the wave over to the opposite side. So you can pair that remote there. You also have pairing down here for the Pebble watch. With a Pebble watch, you can download the Nautique Surf app, and you can control the boat speed, stereo volume, surf left, surf right, wave settings. You can do all of that from the watch itself while riding behind the boat. So very, very cool system. This system is very intuitive. It's easy to use. You can use the touchscreen on the dash. You can use the rotary knob. So really, whatever your preference is there, Nautique tries to make it really, really easy. This is probably the first boat that we've ever seen that you can control the whole entire boat without having to take a hand off the wheel and your arm off the armrest.
So aside from having the biggest wake and the best surf wave in the industry, one thing that's really setting the Nautique G series apart is the massive amount of storage you have in these boats. As you can see from this compartment here, it's a very deep compartment. It's long, it runs all the way to the end of the boat here. There's plenty of room in here for surfboards. You can fit wakeboards with bindings on them. You can actually get about 3 wakeboards with bindings on them in here, with additional stuff on top. I think we've crammed as many as 10 surfboards into one of these compartments before, so it really does change the aspect of how you can use a boat. You no longer have to worry about leaving gear behind. You know, if you want to go set up a spot on the beach somewhere, throw the pop-up tent back here. You don't have to worry about, oh, we'll run back and get it if we need it. So really allows you to maximize the way you're going to use this boat. You have a ton of storage in the boat. You have a huge surf wave. You have a huge wakeboard wake, and a nice big stable boat that can handle doing that. For 2016, Nautique has upgraded their stereo. So this year we're using JL audio for tower speakers and boat speakers. So we have 6 speakers in the boat. We have the 4 8.8 JL tower speakers, and then our JL subwoofer tucked down into the compartment. There's really no need to port this compartment because they've actually ported it through the sides of the boat here. So you get that subwoofer sound coming out from the side panels rather than needing a vent here in the center of the compartment or on the side of the compartment to let out. So one thing that a lot of people don't notice about Nautiques is how they really try and manage the water in the boat. If you open these storage compartments here, you can see around the outside edge there's actually a gutter around the compartment with a little drain in the back. So any water that's getting on the cushions, if it makes its way around the cushion, it's going to come into these drains and drain down into the bottom of the boat. The way the cushions actually overlap the motor compartment, you're not going to get water draining down inside the motor compartment. If we lift up that hatch, you can see there is also a gutter system all the way around the engine compartment so that you're not getting that additional water dripping on the motor. So in this boat we got the new PCM H6. It is a 6.2 liter direct injected motor. In these new motors we're getting more horsepower, more torque, and we're getting it more efficiently. So with the combination of the 2-speed transmission, you can have more power, more performance, less fuel consumption. So we get the best of both worlds in a Nautique. So there it is, the 2016 G23 from Nautique. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions, please come visit us at Galey's Marine in Bakersfield, California, or visit us on the web at www.galeysmarine.com or on Facebook. You can also give us a call at 661-327-5711. We'll be more than happy to schedule a demo for you. Thank you very much.